It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Since 2010, your weekly source for independent New York Red Bulls news and opinion. Now, from the Joe Goldstein studio, here's your host, Mark Fishkin.
It's Mark Fishkin with Mike Battista tonight. It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. So much to talk about. The Red Bulls come from behind to beat Salt Lake in one of the strangest matches in recent memory. And the team gets ready for, frankly, the biggest match of the season. That's Wednesday night at Subaru Park in Philadelphia in the US Open Cup quarters. Tonight on the show, we'll look back at what we saw Sunday night against RSL. We'll give our Bull of the Week. We will prep for Wednesday's do-over of the US Open quarterfinal that was rained out last month. We're going to chat with Steve Jolley of Red Bulls Radio and emails as well. How are you, Mr. Battista?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited for this Open Cup game as I horribly look at my weather app and tremble.
Yes, hoping against hope that we don't have a redo. I don't think we'll have a redo. It may, I mean, the heat and the humidity are building on the eastern seaboard. It's very possible that there will be a lightning or weather delay, but I don't think we're going to see a complete washout, because if we do, first of all, I think they should just Rochambeau for it. And second of all, really, I think unprecedented. Even
I think they're gonna play this game until someone dies.
And okay, well,
because what they've got no room. There's no more.
There's no room in the calendar. They'll have to play during an international break, which I don't think will serve the Red Bulls too well.
Are there any between now and September?
After the Columbus game, there is an international break.
So they could do that.
They could do that. All right, let's get right into it. New York started AJ Marcucci in goal for the first time, I think, in a league game. Marcucci has was it? Oh no, Coronel was out at least once for international. So nevertheless, Marcucci has been playing very well. Obviously, took 2 of the 3 Leagues Cup matches and started in goal. And 3 minutes in, RSL starlet, can we say starlet? Teen Dream Xavier Gozo with a nifty finish through the 5-hole, as they say, hockey term. Marcucci, I think, should have done a little bit better than that. However, New York's backline completely torn apart. And before the 3-minute mark, New York's down a goal, and you think, Lord, we've seen this before, and yet the team had played strong defense all through the Leagues Cup. And it was, Salt Lake again on the road. They're a good team. They've been unbeaten in 5, but just not the way you want to start. The Red Bulls had a lot of trouble finding the net in this match, only putting 5 of 22 shots on frame.
It was a lot.
I mean, good news, lots of shots. RSL kind of, defended up a goal on the road, but New York has got to just be a little more clinical. 5-22, not so great. In the second half, the DPs team up. A fantastic ball across from Forsberg to Chupo, his 14th goal of the season. New York is in it, right? With it was about a half hour to play. When did he score? 52 minutes in. Yeah, so all to play for. Now, Chupo has taken a lot of penalties this year, and he's converted a lot of penalties. But I have rarely seen a failed Panenka like I saw from Chupo. It was almost as if, too cute by half. Like I don't know what tell he made from the Salt Lake keeper, but Cabral did not have to move, just wait calmly and quietly for the ball to flutter to him. Thoughts there?
I was just kind of blown away because I kind of zoned out for a second. Did you talk about how the goalkeeper had the mind games going before all this?
No. During the run up to the PK?
Yeah, because when he started, he was kind of Chupo's left, his right. He was kind of by that part of the goal, leaving a bunch of the space open. And my not condolences. I have to give a lot of leeway to goalies because man, FIFA has made it hard to be a goalkeeper on a penalty kick.
Yes.
But Chupo is experienced, and it felt like the mind games worked because he was moving himself to each part of the goal, like on the right side, far to the left, and Chupo just hook, line, sinker. Like he made it seem like he was gonna go away, and then when Chupo went down the middle, he goes, "No, I got you."
Yeah.
It was something we would see it like a Red Bulls 2 game. Like
It was something we would see at a U9 rec game, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was not Chupo's best moment.
Ball is ball. It worked, so good on you. But Chupo, what happened?
Yeah, not great. He would have a chance to redeem himself there. In the 85th minute, I have rarely seen a double red on the same play where punches are not delivered in a match. Nevertheless, Diego Luna and Kyle Duncan get tied up in the 85th minute going down New York's right. It looked at the offing that Luna had tackled Duncan cleanly, which was his second yellow. To be fair, it wasn't a straight red, but we found out after a lengthy, and I mean lengthy, VAR review that Duncan was just as much to blame in, I think, grabbing Luna and pulling him down on top of him. It was really, I mean, the last 20 minutes of this match, who was the ref on the night? I'll get it. Nevertheless,
They didn't get hurt this time, so
completely lost control of the game. A lengthy VAR review in which both players were ejected. So there's a little more space. And then Chupo doing, frankly, what Chupo should do, which is get in the box and get fouled. He's so big. He's a lot to handle. Justin Glad had his hands all over him. Did Chupo go to ground a little bit easily? Sure. Was there a tug by Glad? Yes. Was it just inside the box? Yes. And when you are fouled in the box, from what I understand due to the rules of the game, that results in a penalty kick no matter how long it takes to determine that's the case. Have you seen a match in recent memory with so much VAR? It was all the VAR. It was VAR-tastic.
I've not seen a match with this much VAR. I've also not seen a match where I was almost certain Pro was going to have to release a statement on Monday.
And did they?
I don't think they did. I would have probably seen it get posted on r/MLS, and I didn't see it during work today. The issue is that the Kyle Duncan thing, for one, bothers me because a play happened after it, and they went back,
right.
And there was almost an indication. I was not at the game because I wasn't feeling well, but I was watching the broadcast, and the broadcasters caught on to this immediately that you cannot rescind, you cannot VAR a red card like that, like a second yellow. You can't VAR that. But the broadcasters were almost talking about how, okay, is Diego Luna coming back now? No, he's not. Okay.
No.
There was this uncertainty of we just played the game and now we're going back to this. And then the VAR for the Chupo PK, they let play continue and go to the other end for offside. And they go, actually, we're going to check the PK real quick. What happened?
Yeah, it was just one of the most bizarre endings. Chupo, as you certainly know if you're watching this show, did not get cute on his second penalty kick attempt of the night, blasting into the top corner. Red Bulls win a game. And also, important to note, the Vikings brought out the not good enough banner before.
Go into MLS Cup, boys.
This before this moment, which prompted me to say, yes, worst home win, ever. Obviously a draw, regardless of how it happened.
Why did they let Chupo take the penalty again? I understand because someone asked him after the game. I think it was Luca from Red Bull Experience. He asked who did her
right?
How do you determine who takes penalty kicks? And he goes, it's the beginning of the season. If Chupo or Emil are on the field, Chupo that's who takes it.
They take it.
And how do you not let Emil take the PK after that? I'm not saying it's as bad as Mario Balotelli trying to spin kick a goal during the MLS All-Star game and immediately getting subbed out because what are you doing? Race of the game. I am more saying I understand that you could have a mulligan, but I'm just very surprised that Sandro didn't say no, Emil, or something like that.
I think it was just a case of a consummate pro just saying, no, I got this to win. I don't know if, and yes, maybe the mind games worked on Chupo for the first one, but clearly correcting for past mistakes. Also interesting to note, among the interesting things to note, after their goal, Salt Lake got took 3 more shots. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more shots for the rest of the game. The Red Bulls outshot Salt Lake 14-3 in the first half. Salt Lake scoring again on their first shot.
And before we move on from this game,
Yeah.
can I bring up something that Sandro was talking about in the post-game presser?
Yes, please.
So after the game, Sandro has this tendency where if he has something he wants to talk about, he will bring up every answer. Like he'll just like continuously bring it up, like every answer to bring it in. And today's secret word of the day was field conditions.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie, Red Bull Arena, Sports Illustrated, whatever I'll call it, it looked terrible because we had Rufus Du Sol concert and we've had Red Bull Leagues Cup, Red Bull Leagues Cup, New York FC Leagues Cup, New York FC Leagues Cup, Club de Foot's Leagues Cup. I think there might be a Gotham game in there.
There was definitely a Gotham game.
But all I'm going to say to this is like, yes, the field looked bad. But his whole thing after the game was, we're a professional organization. I'm not going to do his impression.
Yes.
We're a professional organization. We have to play on a professional field. We cannot play in the field today. Sandro, you look the same as you did for the last 5 months. Your team looked the exact same. I know the field looked bad, but the field looked bad. You still outshot them 25-7.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can lean on that. It's the same thing he did in the Inter Miami game when Alexander Hack was beaten by Lionel Messi and he's crying for offside. And he just keeps bringing up that fourth goal. Because you let him 3 goals before that. Like, you cannot keep harping on one moment of the game, like, and say that was the issue. The issue is this team. And he's trying to find ways out of it.
Well, I guess you can't blame him in the sense that the field was atrocious. I mean, both teams are playing on it though. So the idea that, and he's not wrong. And
he's not wrong.
I talked to Steve Jolley about this in our next segment, which you'll hear shortly. But this is absolutely not on the multi-year award-winning grounds crew at Sports Illustrated Stadium, because for years they have had one of the, if not the most pristine field surfaces in the league. You can blame it on this concert, frankly, like directly. They've had plenty of weeks where there are multiple games on the pitch. That's not the issue. And I know there's going to be more soccer played, more concerts rather at
2 in October. I think.
2 in October. It will be after the regular season, and as we know, we're not sure if they're going to be playoffs. But it looks bad on television. It feels bad for the players. They have to do something, and if the answer is invest in some sort of platform or tile system where you're not actually imprinting into the field, you're resting the stage on a platform, then that's what they're going to have to do, because it's not acceptable. All right. With the win, and yes, they did win, folks. The Red Bulls sit in 10th place. They are tied on points. They are tied on wins with Chicago. They are behind. They are below the line right now on 1 goal difference. Chicago's a +5, and they do have a match in hand. The Red Bulls are a +4. So they are as literally as close to the line as you can get. You have a bowl of the night on a night where the Red Bulls win in a game where they don't look great. And thank you, VAR. And
I really don't, because
you don't have the guy that scored both the goals.
You mean the guy who scored both PKs? I'm sorry, who scored a PK, and then after he missed the first one?
Yes.
Yes, the first goal was good. It's just like, I guess by default it's like getting the participation trophy. Yeah, I'll give it to Chupo, but I mean,
I think you missed
the first. You gotta have to. It's just not my strongest bull of the week, really.
Okay, it's all right. He's up to 15 goals. We haven't had a 15-goal scorer in a while. And yes, a lot of them were penalties. He's
I
third in
I
the
will give him his due and say, yeah, he's increasing the number of open play goals though. So like, yeah, a lot of
yes.
PKs. I will give him his due on that. It's just like last night or last whatever
Sunday
it
night.
was. Sunday night was kind of a weird game for me to give him credit, even though I did give him my second MLS game of the player of the match day.
That's right. And he made the MLS team of the week. Score the equalizer, score the game winner. Full of the week. You might or may not be aware.
Why am I here? Like, you know,
there are 5 teams left in the Open Cup. It's the final 5. The Loons host Austin in the Western bracket. Nashville has been sitting at home, twiddling their thumbs and waiting for this game to be played tomorrow night as the Red Bulls visit the Union. Yeah, hi, we see you. And the Red Bulls will host if they win. So let's talk about, well, Loons Austin. You have any thoughts there? I mean, Minnesota's having a good year.
You know, Minnesota's having a good year. They have goalkeeper. If it's not goalkeeper of the year, it's at least top 3 with Wayne St. Clair. I've always been a Minnesota fan. Call me a lower league, rah guy. But I've been happy to see them continue to grow. Austin is very hard to root for, but like they are a good team. They are a pretty good team this year. They're tricky to beat. So Minnesota is hosting that one, right?
Yes, that's right.
I think they've actually announced like they're doing T-shirts. They're trying to like get fans in for this game, and they're trying to do the advertising a month at a time too.
Good.
Like they're doing this right. So I'm excited for that. I don't know who's going to win because I need to see closer to the game, but
And the Western team will host the final.
Yeah, and neither of these teams, of course, have ever won Open Cup. Minnesota got close in 2019, and they lost to Atlanta in Mercedes-Benz in the most attended Open Cup final of all time. And then Atlanta was defending champion for 3 years because the tournament got canceled.
There you go. Before we get to the Open Cup, let's just look at the remaining schedule. There are not a lot of games on this list. Right, we're talking about Wednesday's Open Cup quarterfinal, but these teams will play also Saturday night at Red Bull Arena.
Just like last time.
That's right, just like last time was supposed to be. Red Bulls go to Charlotte. Then they have the first of 2 against Columbus, who is cruising along. They go to a very good Portland team. They go to Montreal in must win. They have the Hudson Derby. They host Cincinnati, who just had their 10-year anniversary with a really nice tifo, and then at Columbus.
I liked it.
This is the toughest league schedule in the league, and so the games there, they are dwindling. All right, let's talk about Philadelphia. We did this a few weeks ago. They played a few games. Philadelphia, I'll do this quick. 15-5-6 in MLS. They're in the shield slot. They're in the shield spot. They're scored 44 and conceded only 25 times in 26 league matches. They did not take part in Leagues Cup. 9-1-4 at Subaru Park in MLS, and they have a win and a shootout win in the Open Cup there. Both of their Open Cup games have been there. They've conceded the fewest goals in the league. They're first in goals scored in the first 15 minutes, as the Red Bulls found out when they played in the league earlier this year and found themselves down 2-0 after 25 minutes. They're second in set piece goals scored, and they are near the top in game result changing goals in the last 15 minutes of matches. They score early, they score late, they don't concede. Oh, by the way, they're unbeaten in 5, and here is that 5 going back to the July 2nd 2-0 home win against the Red Bulls. They beat Montreal 2-1. They went to Houston and got a draw, which is not great, but it's a road draw, which is a lot more than the Red Bulls have gotten. A 3-1 home win against Colorado, and then a home draw against Toronto. 4 of the last 5 at home, and they'll be at home tomorrow night. Oh, humming right along. There's not been much change over the last month for the Union. It's a team performing above.
Are these the same 3 bullet points?
No, they're not. They're kind of are.
The Barbaro one was.
The only change in being third in the East when we first met, and now they're on the top of the East and on top of the league. Carnell, again, they got rid of Gazdag and Jack Elliott and Jack McGlynn, and U.S. Men's International Quinn Sullivan is playing it right. Both, Lukic is doing amazing in midfield for them, and Makanya in the back from South Africa is young, but doing great. And of course, Baribo, who was out for a few months due to injury and international duty and getting stuck in Israel, is now back, and he had a goal and an assist in his last 2 games. The history is not kind. Not kind. There was a time where the Red Bulls led handily in the series in the early days of Philadelphia entering the league, as they did in 2010. The Union have not lost to New York in 15 matches in all competitions. The last time the Red Bulls won in the series was back in September of 2019, and the last time the Red Bulls won in Chester was a critical 1-0 win on a Kaku penalty kick in October of 2018, which allowed the Red Bulls, when Atlanta faltered on decision day, to come up with their third and most recent Supporters' Shield. Philadelphia 7-0-2 against the Red Bulls in Chester since that game. Bradley Wright Phillips is the all-time leading scorer, and actively it's just our friend and my friend and yours, Tim Parker, who has a single goal on this roster, because New York does not actually get good results against this team or score a lot of goals. It could be Bradley Carnell's 4-4-2. Remember, Ale Bedoya, who's 38 now, loves to play in these games. Andre Blake has only conceded 15 goals this season. He has 5 clean sheets. Kai Wagner, names you must know, with 8 assists from the left. Jacob Glesnes of the absolute bomb to eliminate New York with a goal and assist. Olethu Makanya has a goal. He's 21. Nathan Harriel, young homegrown, 2 goals. Indiana Vasilov with 4 and 2. Jovan Lucic with 3 and 1. Donley Jean-Jacques from Haiti, 3 and 2. Quinn Sullivan has been terrific for the Union. 2 goals and 8 assists. And then up top, it's Baribo with 15 goals and 2. He's tied with your friend of mine, Eric Choupo-Moting, and Bruno Damiani, the 23-year-old Uruguayan, with 5 and 1. I've also often been accused, when all of the indicators are pointing in one direction, to say there's no reason, but it's usually when the Red Bulls have the indicators. It's usually long winning streak at home, on a roll. I mean, the Red Bulls haven't lost a game in four go rounds, right? They've been unbeaten since the start of Leagues Cup, and they have been playing solid defense, aside from the late goal against Suarez and the early goal against Salt Lake. By and large, it's been pretty good. There are no indicators that would illustrate that the Red Bulls will win this game. None. Philadelphia is a rock solid at home. They don't concede goals, period. They rarely concede shots. I don't know. I'm going to put this back for a second. They're 30th, meaning the lowest, in saves per match. That's the fewest number of saves per match. And that's because the shots don't get to Andre Blake. 2 saves per match. I don't know how New York is going to win this game, other than willing it for the intrepid supporters that'll make the drive. It's a 7:00 start, by the way, not 7:30. So if you're leaving North Jersey or the New York area, you got to be out the door, by 4, if not sooner. Like, I don't know how New York can win this game. Mike?
Well, first off, I do love the fact that there is just weather. The weather says that, it's going to rain. And yeah, they will play through rain. It's the problem that there's a hurricane off the coast right now. So we don't know. It's just
the hurricane will not be here by
the hurricane won't be here. I just love that, like, there is a weather current around that's just like possible thunderstorms, definite rain. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. And it rains a lot, and I've come to realize it rains a lot in Chester. Like, the farther south you go, it gets bad. But I'm like, man, it rains a lot there. You're totally right. I'm going with the power of love and friendship on this one, because I feel like I said it last time, and I'm like, in my brain is the Groundhog Day, the Cher and Sunny song just playing in my head. Yeah. Because what I say last time is that the Red Bulls are going to get a result in one of the 2 games against Philly, and they still can do that. because it's still going to be play Philly and then play Philly.
Yeah.
Do we know Carlos is not healthy yet, right?
No, AJ is going to start. And what we haven't mentioned to date, apparently Marcelo Morales, who showed, I thought, very, very well against
Pretty good,
Suarez,
yeah.
got the assist on the goal to Dylan Nealis. He will not play tomorrow because he was an hour late to practice today. So
Yeah, you can't have that.
Sandro's like, you can't play, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, 100%.
I don't know why that happened. I know the kid's young, but for someone that's just finally breaking in and showing his quality, are you kidding me? Anyway.
Are you kidding me to Sandro or to the player?
No, I'm saying, are you kidding me to Morales? What are you doing?
Just making sure. Look, the Red Bulls definitely are the underdogs here. I'm still going to say that there's going to be a bunch of roster shifting here. And with Philly, we don't like whoever plays today. It's like short rest. Are they going to play in Harrison on Saturday? So they're still good with the B squad. So it really matters of what they're focusing on right now.
They're going for it. They're going. They're on 15 years without
contender.
They're on 15 years without a title.
We're on 20. We're on 30.
Okay, but they're 3 wins away, just like the Red Bulls are. And
also, wait, you didn't count the Shield, so I mean, man, that invalidates a lot of Red Bull people right now.
I'm not invalidating anything. The team hasn't won a knockout tournament in 30 years, other than the Manga Cup. But but Philadelphia hasn't either. So this is meaningful enough for them.
I think, yes. So I'm really curious, though, what's going to happen because it is short rest and it's against the same. It's also against the same opponent. So, I mean, it's not like you're playing against Charlotte on Saturday where it's like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen. There is a chess game going on here. I'm just going to be stupidly optimistic and say, I think the Red Bulls have a chance. It's any given Sunday, any given Wednesday in Chester. You have a chance.
Can you do it in a rainy Wednesday in Chester? I don't have a prediction. If the Red Bulls get to penalty kicks, I feel good about it. It will take literally everything. Total committed team defense for 120 minutes to get there. Earlier today, Schwartz at the presser said they really have to be careful not to overcommit. They really have to be very deliberate in how they press and not to get pushed up like they did in the opening 3 minutes against Salt Lake. Philadelphia's a much better. Philadelphia's the top team in the league. I mean, listen, I'd love for them to win, and of course, as we all know, if they get by Philly, they will host the U.S. Open Cup semifinal, which, for Red Bulls fans, I think will be a treat in a year that's been mediocre. The team is 500. They may not make the playoffs given the schedule they have, and so.
It's
this
very
is
rare. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. And this is a chance to really say to their fans, we care about you. We're fighting for you. And maybe things will work out okay. I don't know.
All I'm going to say is that in my time covering the Open Cup and in my time covering MLS, it's very rare to see teams who are good in the league or Supporter Shield, MLS Cup champion, to also win the Open Cup.
Yeah.
So I not counting Toronto because the Canadian Championship is own whatever, because they did that. But with the Open Cup, it's very rare to do a double, even to do a double with the Supporter Shield and the Open
MLS Cup. Yes.
And MLS Cup. So Philadelphia is in the spot where, yeah, they can buck that trend, but also can they put all of their resources into everything? The Red Bulls are the quintessential Open Cup champion team here because they're kind of mediocre. That's exactly the kind of team that can go on a run in the Open Cup.
That's right. And prioritize the cup.
Yeah.
Okay. And for me, and I know I can't speak to the fan base at large, should they go on this unbelievable cup run and win the Open Cup, for me, it is absolutely a successful season, even if they do not make the playoffs. I mean, to bring a trophy to the team, I mean, that would be phenomenal.
To me, it is too. Like, I know for most American people, it'll be like, that's a failure. But I mean, you know me, we win the Open Cup. I'm going to be in the street like with a flag, you know?
Okay, someone on this show wants to talk about FC Monmouth in the Open Cup, and now
Yeah.
that's that opportunity.
So I'm just going to say that even though we are not finished with 2025, 2026 is right around the corner.
It is.
And what that means is the Open Cup qualifying tournament is going to be happening this fall. And what that means is that we have all amateur teams from around the country vying for something like 14 spots in the tournament proper. And for the first time ever, the locals from Monmouth County, FC Monmouth, who were just in their first season for the League of Clubs, they will be taking part for the first time, which is really fun. And their head coach is former New York Red Bulls 2007 defender Hugh McDonald. He wasn't drafted, but he signed on with the team in 2007, played with the reserves. Never saw a game with the first team, but he was, he's been assistant coach at Monmouth University. He's been head coach for them this year. It was his first season, had their best season to date. So, to see a local team in there, it's exciting because Motown's already going to be in the Open Cup because of their USL League 2 season. So potentially New Jersey could have even more lower division teams. And we don't know the full slate of teams yet. We could have more teams like New Jersey Lions, Jackson Lions, things like that. But to know FC Monmouth is there, I'm excited.
That's exciting. More soccer, more cup soccer is good. All right, when we're back, it's our friend Steve Jolley, Philadelphia Phillies lunatic Steve Jolley, and you'll see him in a bit. And then we're back with emails. So keep it here. We're at the New York Soccer Roundup for our back-to-back Red Bulls Radio superstar guests. This Met fan is very distraught that Steve Jolley, former Metro legend, has decided to actually put Go Phillies 6 games up in his nameplate. But, enjoy it today, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll, who the hell knows? Talk to us about your view from the booth on a Sunday night match that was kind of traditional. And then those last 20 minutes, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a match. The ref totally lost control. VAR all over the place. What was your view?
I mean, I can't imagine for somebody who was in the stadium trying to keep up with what was going on. It was difficult enough with even, we get the Apple feed. We don't get the greatest replays on the Apple feed, so we can't request anything. So it's kind of difficult seeing things on ourselves, on our side as well. Yeah. But I mean, it was, man, and that was about as big a roller coaster game as you could ever imagine. And fortunately, we figured out a way to get 3 points because, Matt jokes. We always joke on air about quote unquote must-win games.
No, every game.
Whew, that was
every game
about as close as possible to a must-win game.
A draw, a home draw, going into these last 7 league games would have been just devastating. It seems to me that New York had a positive Leagues Cup experience. I don't think you can think of it in any other way. They played all the Mexican teams really, really tight. I mean, the notion that they got positive results against Chivas, and then I honestly thought Monterrey was going to bring a little bit more. And then a very entertaining game against Suarez, knowing that the chances of advancement wasn't so great. And I'm certainly glad that the intensity was there. The shooting boots, however, are not. And I'm curious what your thoughts on just the ability to get the ball on frame. It's really been challenging, certainly Sunday night.
No, I mean, you're on point. I mean, that's where we've been. It's harshly constructive opinions about the need and ability to make sure that at least you're testing the keeper, and anything can kind of happen from it. I think there was kind of a little bit, at least what I was seeing just internally, a little bit of a reckoning with that Miami game and how disappointing and frustrating and embarrassing that game was. And then the return and to go to Chicago and get that loss, that was okay, where is this team going?
Yeah.
And you make fun of me and everybody else makes fun of me that I'm cautiously optimistic. Maybe too cautiously optimistic sometimes about this team and this organization sometimes. But like the luxury of our situation, I say our, Matt and I's situation is being so close with the team. We usually can see when things are going to go bad before most people.
Yeah.
And yeah, we try not to project it or anything like that sometimes, but you can usually see some. And never in any capacity was locker team lost. Like it was, positive, constructive. And so, as you kind of mentioned, the success, I would call it a little bit of a success, that Leagues Cup, because I thought the team played fairly well and it were difficult to play against. And, you weren't losing games and all that kind of stuff. And then to come out of that, and some would say that, okay, we got our 3 games in the Leagues Cup and we want to be done with it because we'd like to focus on other things. That's another MLS conversation that we had there. But to get the win, and albeit a very unusual win, I think it was very positive. And this game on Wednesday, or tomorrow, whenever this is getting played, on Wednesday, is an absolutely enormous opportunity to right some years of ill will against this organization.
Unlike the Union, who are on top of the league, they are saying the right things. I saw a quote from Bedoya saying that we're putting all of our energy through this, but Philadelphia is going to make the playoffs. They may have a supporter shield in their future, which would be a tremendous achievement for Bradley Carnell in his first year there. But they also have never won a trophy, and so for them, it's now a 15-year albatross around their neck. But I feel like this game just means a whole lot more to New York than it does to the Union, given the fact that New York would host the semifinal against Nashville, given the fact that this season has kind of been an epic meh, and given the fact that, again, the last time New York won in Philly, it was 2018 as the Red Bulls were going for their 3rd shield, and Kaku had a penalty kick. That was the difference in a 1-0 win. And since then, Philly's gone 7-0-2 against New York there. And for Red Bull fans going, where are the threads of hope, Steve, as you're cautiously optimistic that tonight can be different? Again, the Red Bulls haven't beaten Philly in any competition since September of 2019. And it's just a bizarre run in a league of parity. The notion that this team, who at one point really struggled to get points against the Red Bulls, have completely dominated them for a very long time.
Yeah. You, me, and the team very much know of our performance against this organization for the last couple of years in every competition, as you mentioned. And, and kudos to the Philadelphia Union. Obviously, we love Bradley to death. He's one of my favorite people that has ever kind of walked the doors of Red Bull. He's pure class in every sense of the way. So he's kind of easy to root for, exception of obviously the game here. But, it's a Philadelphia Union team that, they're not crazy in terms of scoring bunches, except Baribo. They're a team that just doesn't give up goals. And that's what's kept them in a lot of games. And, and they've stole a couple points and all that kind of stuff. Their season is basically like our May to some degree.
Right.
It's like, you're not always playing the best soccer. And I've seen them a lot, obviously, because I'm around here. And it's just like, they're not playing their best soccer, but they're getting points. And it's like, man, these are adding up pretty quickly. So, fortunately for us, I think we've done, fairly decent job the last, let's say
couple weeks
defensively. So, keeping on task with Baribo is going to be really important. Obviously, set pieces, which were the devil of us for a couple weeks there, need to be, strong and making sure that we've got that taken care of. It's just like, I don't know what to expect because the team has relied too heavily, obviously, on, Chupo and Forsberg. I would love for, Sofo to get back to his ways. I would love, I don't know what the roster looks like in terms of what to expect yet, but I'd be worried if we continue I'd be worried about this game. I'd be worried for the remaining balance of the season if we continue to rely so much on Chupo and Forsberg.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Lloyd Sam mentioned it in the intro to Sunday night's game that, that Sofo's stuck on 5. He The last month has been just kind of wanting for him. A lot of scuff balls, a lot of missed opportunities. You so desperately need that third player, right, to pull the defense apart, to really give them a different sort of look. We've heard that Bergeron's visa hasn't come through yet, so he's not yet with the team. He'll be a boost. But again, I'm curious, and to be transparent, I wasn't part of the press on Sunday night. Curious about Sandro's decision to go with AJ in the league game where he hadn't played to date in favor of Coronel. I would imagine we'd expect Coronel to be in the net tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, that's expectation too. I don't know if it was because of the unique nature of this change in schedule and giving AJ some time and a little bit of rest to Carlos and stuff like that. But I'd be shocked that Carlos isn't in the net. Obviously he's been solid for us this year. It continues to be solid for us.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a game that, listen, it's not often in August. I'm telling everybody that I live around here in Philadelphia, this is the game you want to go to.
Yes.
This is basically September, October kind of mentality. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a playoff kind of game mindset for both sides because of their passion to kind of want to win something here. They also recognize, both organizations, how important this is psychologically for their team going forward. And probably more so us, in the final third, fourth of the season to, keep it positive. We've got some players right now that I don't know if are playing with a lot of confidence when I see them play. And that's like the Wikis of the world, guys that I think are talented. Just he's not finding his groove right now. Sofo is more frustrated with himself, but to his credit, he is at least he's a force still. I mean, he's not afraid to run at players, defenders, and that's kind of what we need, right? And you're seeing, unfortunately for us, the lack of having Cameron Harper and obviously Lewis Morgan has been tough for us. And you can see their style of play, just how beneficial they would be for us if they were healthy.
I know Lewis's return date is somewhat scheduled for late August, whether it's the Charlotte match or the Columbus match. It's a chance tomorrow to really, I mean, again, they played really well in Leagues Cup, and I don't know if it was a question of Liga MX teams just play a different style that New York was more suited to, especially on the defensive end, where I thought the Red Bulls played incredibly well. But for me, it's just a chance in a situation where, to be frank, and I know you're cautiously optimistic, they have the hardest road out of any of MLS's 30 teams down the stretch. They have the hardest road, and they need every single point. And it's not within the realm of reason that this team will miss the postseason for the first time since 2009. And this game tomorrow night can give Red Bull fans a cup semifinal at home, and kind of give them a bright spot on the season when it's just kind of been okay. So
I'm completely and utterly okay with that comment. And quite frankly, I probably repeat it during a broadcast because, listen, I try to stay cautiously optimistic, but also I'm realistic in that respect. And I know that this season has not been the same. And the only reason why I'm cautiously optimistic is, quite frankly, because of the structure of Major League Soccer and knowing that, you just get yourself in that playoff and anything can happen. And I don't think right now, especially in the Eastern Conference, that there are teams that, listen, I can say that their teams top to bottom roster wise might be stronger than us. They may be playing better soccer at the time, but in one game, knowing how hard, and the veteran leadership and having, the guys that we have on the field and the work that I know our coaching staff does. And I feel for them with a lot that they're going on right now too. That's why I stay, cautiously optimistic. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that's why I think this game is so vitally important for this season and also this organization is that, listen, you get a good win here, anything can happen. You go home where we know we've been dominant for, borderline decades now. It's some good things can happen. And, again, I think that we have the talent, even with the injuries, to compete. We just have to be at our top level. I mean, we can't sleep. It's just once we sleep, that's what gets us in trouble. And I mean, what a great example last time we played them at Philadelphia when they gave up 2 early goals. You can't do it.
No, you can't do it. And of course, what happened with Salt Lake on Sunday night, not exactly offering a tremendous amount of confidence. And you give it to the kid from RSL who had a phenomenal finish. He's a future star in the league for sure. But just getting completely cut out was reminiscent of kind of that first game in Philly where the opening whistle comes and you're just not ready. The pitch at Red Bull Arena is as bad as I think we've ever seen it. This is an organization that prides itself on having a pristine playing surface. They've won the Field Tech of the Year award a number of times, but it was bad. And in fact, Schwartz, I mean, props to Schwartz for calling it out at the end of the game. I mean, it's not. Perhaps you make the argument that on a smoother pitch, AJ is able to make that save in the second minute. But any comment? I mean, listen, there'll be concerts at in Harrison more and more as Sports Illustrated, I think, looks to really plumb this relationship that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something. I mean, I know Dan takes a tremendous amount of pride in the field, and it's bad right now.
You can imagine Dan right now, right?
Oh.
I mean, I mean, it just kills me. Like, I feel horrible for him. Hopefully things were learned. I guess the best way of saying it in terms of how to manage those concerts kind of going forward. And I mean, I think Sandro has the platform to be,
absolutely,
critical, and the fact that he's doing it does not in any way say anything about Dan and his work as a professional.
Agreed. And that's Dan Semich.
Sure everybody is abundantly clear and knowledgeable about what Dan gives to this organization and that
everything
and his staff. And like, it's got to be tough for him too.
Yeah, that's Dan Semich, who is for many years the head groundskeeper for Red Bulls, both at the training center and also
unbelievable dude. Unbelievable,
he's
dude.
phenomenal.
Prideful, pride in his work, and you want him here and doing great things. And it hurts. I feel for him.
All right, well, let's leave it at that. Steve Jolley can be heard every Red Bulls match, calling color with his protege Matt Harmon, and has a very easy trip on Wednesday night. It's a 20-minute drive for him. So thanks so much for coming by, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, we've got your emails coming up at this short break, so keep it here. Back on Seeing Red. Mike loves that music. You can write us anytime at seeingredny@gmail.com. 3 emails this week. First from longtime listener and writer Nick Faraci, who says, all-knowing Red Bull soccer heroes. We could be heroes, Mike. I'm watching this RSL game right now in part to help me decide whether to prioritize going to the Philly game next weekend because I'll be in the area. Something in favor of attending is that despite their need to refine their games, I'm enjoying watching players like Hall, Donkor, and Sofo. They just look so constantly energized to prove themselves. I know this team needs some signings of quality and proven pedigree, but right now I'm seeing a silver lining in getting to watch these youngsters. Do you think the Red Bulls are continuing to create a solid pipeline with investment in the 2 team? Who do you think is coming up and will be getting to watch and talk about it in another year that is not a big name, but certainly is entertaining? Thanks, Nick Faraci. You have any thoughts on the pipeline coming up from Red Bulls 2?
Yeah, no, the pipeline is back to being pretty good. We had difficulty during the last year's the USL Championship, where the team won a wooden spoon and was getting killed. It's not perfect by any means, and we're not looking at just results of the 2 team, but I still think that Dennis Hamlet did unmanageable damage to this organization and how they treat youth players. And moving on past that, and good luck, Connecticut. But the team right now, the pipeline is focusing on a lot of youth internationals, and it seems to be working. We've seen a lot of good talent come through there, And that includes some guys who made it through during those, COVID era years, like Peter Stroud. So, no, it's definitely been working out well.
Yeah, no, it's working out well. And players, I think that you start to see get some play time. Nathaniel Benedetti got to play. Rafa Mascara got to play over Leagues Cup and even got some MLS first team minutes. So, I mean, listen, there's more emails to come about quality and ambition and all that. But I think, especially with Michael Bradley in place, with Julian de Guzman in place, the one place where the Red Bulls will continue to invest, not exclusively, but invest, is in the youth development, moving players up from the academy to the 2 team and then onto the first team. And Mike gave you just a couple of ideas of some players there, as did I. All right, here's Matteo Schmidt, who says, "Hey, Mark and Mike, I enjoy your pod each week. Thank you." I think this may be Mateo's first email, and if it is, awesome. And if it's not, my apologies. "I enjoy your pod each week and wanted to react to something Matt Harmon said on the last episode. He claims," now keep in mind, Matt Harmon was gracious in his comments. He is employed by the team. He is not involved in player acquisition or strategy or anything like that. He's the radio play-by-play man. That said, back to Mateo's note, he claims that no one in the Red Bulls organization aims to finish mid-table or consciously has a strategy of barely qualifying for the playoffs and seeing where luck takes them. I've heard versions of this over the years, and I'd love to know, though, what are the consequences for consistently underachieving in the last half decade plus? Have any executives been fired? Has a strategic plan ever been presented to the fan base? We once heard that there was going to be more investment, but then we saw mostly more of the same, taking a few shots on mostly former Leipzig players, but no drastic improvements in building the squad. It still feels like they're doing just enough to keep the fans quiet, but never going all in. It's so frustrating to see teams like LAFC and Miami make major signings while we struggle to even sign another former Leipzig player. Clearly, Werner is not worth $9 million, but if they don't sign him or someone else significant, I will be really upset. Cheers, Matteo. I will let you take a shot, and then I will have my own thoughts here on Mr. Schmidt's email.
Well, man, it's this tough. Because what are the consequences for consistently underachieving the last half decade plus? So you kind of stuck me there, because last half decade negates the point I wanted to make, which is, like, we've seen head coaches get fired for underachieving. We saw Chris Armas get fired.
Yes, and we saw Dennis Hamlet be relieved.
We saw Dennis Hamlet get relieved. I will say we've also seen other versions of that where Gerhard didn't get fired for underachieving, even though I think he did some pretty good. He just kind of wasn't finishing. Troy Lesane did more than he probably should have, and he was let go. So, and then we had, front office people kind of just sticking around for too long in the last half decade, and not finishing the consequence, or not feeling the consequences. So if you're just looking at the last half decade, it's tough. I understand your point, and partially I think you're right, because let's just ignore the COVID aspect, because underachieving during COVID is very weird, because nothing
agreed.
Really, it's hard to quantify success. And the fact that the team was still going to the playoffs during those times is weird. And we still fired Chris Armas in that time. But if we were trying to find, who is suffering because the team isn't doing well, the fans are the most suffering here, because at the end of the day, Red Bull Global doesn't really have to worry about underachieving right now, unless they finish wooden spoon. They're fine,
Here are the Red Bulls finishes from 2019. All of these teams made the playoffs. 6th, 7th, 4th, 8th. That included an MLS Cup. The other thing I'll say is, and I am not defending the philosophy of Red Bull, but as Stephen A would say, but LAFC signed Olivier Giroud, and maybe he brought fans into the team. He did not score goals.
Yeah.
A star-laden Miami squad got trucked by Orlando this week. In fact, they lost both of the games over the year to Orlando. There are many different ways to win in MLS. Atlanta brought Miggy back and spent $11 million on Latte Lath. And they're terrible. So I'll just remind you that we have a 15, again, I'm not defending, but we do have a 15-goal scorer on this team for the first time in a long time who wasn't here last year. And it's easy to just say, well, yeah, they had to do that, but they did. Imagine where this team would be right now if Chupo wasn't on the team and we were still in a Barlow Klamala situation up top.
To also go with your point, like, look at the New England Revolution in the last half decade, where 2020, they nearly won Supporter Shield.
Yep.
2021, they won Supporter Shield and set a record with points. And then every year since then, they crashed out. And now this year, there's kind of okay, I think. Like, they were bad and other kind of okay, I think.
Yeah.
So this league humbles all. And it's hard to figure it out. The problem the Red Bulls have is that they are they have their idea and they're going to stick to it. And
they have the plan.
For better or worse, they do that. And for the most part, like, if your bar is making the playoffs, that is for the better. But I understand where you're saying that, like, there's failure because you want to win the playoffs. But we're kind of in a Detroit Red Wings situation where we have enough, but we just make the playoffs, and that's okay. And then we see what happens in the playoffs. Unlike the hockey playoffs, it's a bit more like wild card, and we saw it last year.
Yep. The Red Bulls currently this year, and I know, again, no one wants to be below the line on goal difference. No one wants to be scratching and fighting no one wants to need a last second John Tolkien penalty kick to get to the playoffs, right? The team is on 1.38 points per game, which is identical to what they had for the entire season last year. They won 11 times in the league last year. They've won 10 times this year.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
They had a lot of ties last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were the time machine. That's right.
They were the time machine. And they're 9 points off of last year's pace. And 47 points where the Red Bulls finished last year may not get you a playoff spot this year. So, I mean, again, listen, I would love to have big names like Sonny. I mean, Sonny is a generational talent. I mean, who wouldn't want him? It's just not the way this team does it. And it's frustrating as hell. But again, they're a 500 team. And it's not been fun to watch. I think that's the biggest challenge for fans. It's not fun to watch sometimes. I mean, 7-0 against the Galaxy, that was pretty fun. I thought the Leagues Cup games in general were really fun. I think also because the stakes for my money were not too high. They knew they weren't going to likelihood in that third game get to the quarterfinals. So anyway, a good note. Thank you, Mateo. It's kind of what we all talk about. We're all talking about it all the time. And if Timo Werner shows up and adds 5 goals before the end of the regular season and the Red Bulls win the derby in Harrison and they take 3 points from Columbus and they make the playoffs.
Never a doubt.
Never in doubt. Wallace Candido with our last email. Hey, Mark and Mike, in regard to the Salt Lake game, the team looked overall positive, and I think we got the result we deserved by XG. Absolutely. I think their XG was over 3.5. We need as many points as possible, and what a wild game to start the latter part of the season. I have a question about the Berggren signing. How do we keep finding ourselves in the situation where our new signings can't play due to visa issues? It feels like sloppy work from the front office, and it shouldn't be acceptable considering other high-profile signings around the league are playing. What are your thoughts on this? You have a thought here?
Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to go first.
No, it's okay.
I mean, hey, it's a battle as old as time. Red Bulls versus visa issues. I don't like commenting on this stuff because it also, I don't know what the team. I don't know what a team has to do to deal with visa issues. I don't know why it affects Red Bull more than others. I feel like if I was covering another team, I would see it also happen to other teams. I really don't know. And there's also the impending political, climate we're in. So I don't know if that helps or hurts. So
well, I mean, the argument could be made. I mean, Sun has already played for LAFC.
That really confused me. I'm not going to lie. So yeah.
Yeah, tale as old as time, song as old
It's
as
a good
rhyme.
question and one I don't have an answer to, and I don't feel like,
It's something
just
Alessio
talking.
can after the transfer issue, for sure. All right, we've come
Yeah.
to an end of another super fantastic, superlative, terrific, wonderful episode of Seeing Red. And if you're still watching, thank you. We won't be back before the weekend game, but we will be back. No, we won't.
Oh,
But
no.
we will be back. I mean, Philly. There's no need to dig in again. You want to garner a prediction for tomorrow night, or you just want to let it fly?
2-1 Red Bulls.
Oh.
I'm really huffing copium right now, man.
In 90 or after extra time?
I'll be fancy and say after extra time.
Oh, okay.
Hey man, look, you gotta believe, and I'm just kind of like, man, we can lose Saturday 5-0, but we're gonna win Wednesday.
I think Red Bull fans would take that. I think Red Bull fans would absolutely take that. I'll call it winning in penalty kicks, because why the heck not? Look, they've beaten. We're winless in 15. The statistical odds would indicate that it's very tough to do.
Every gambler quits before they win it big.
There you go. Well, we're playing tomorrow. So thanks to Zach Feldman for stats. Thanks to Steve Jolley for Phillies fans. And congratulations to Pete Alonso, who earlier tonight became the all-time leading home run hitter in Mets history. Well done, sir. And Mike, thanks for joining as well. We will be back next week to talk all about these Philly fiascos on Seeing Red. Thanks for watching episode 624. Be well, everyone. Good night.